This Daf Lamed Zayin of the Daf Yomi Yerushalmi, according to the Art Scroll Oz V'Hadar pagination. According to the Vilna pagination, it starts in Daf Chav Hey Amud Aleph. We're starting even a couple lines before Daf Lamed Zayin because we finished with the Mishnah on Daf Lamed Vav and Beis yesterday. So we're starting 2 lines from the end of Daf Lamed Vav and Beis. Mishnah Halacha Gimel. Nosha Avadim Ktanim Turmi Kriya Shema and Tefillin. Women, slaves, and children are exempt from Shema and from Tefillin, which are Mitzvah Shazman Grama. V'chayav and B'tfilah, they're required to daven. The Haredium says, Moshe says similarly, the Rachmei Hu Him Rabbanani. It's since it's asked for Rachamim and it's the Rabbanan. The Tikknua Af L'Noshim La'Avadim. They enacted it even for women and slaves. Avogaz my grandma, despite the fact that it's grandma, because everybody needs tefillah. Mezuzah obviously not is also not mitzvah seisha man grandma, and Birkas Hamazon also not a mitzvah seisha as man grandma. But here the Mepharshim say that since it says b'seis Hashem lechem be'er be'asor lechov lechem bokeris bar, I might have said it's mitzvah seisha as man grandma. Kamashma that it is not. Okay, so says Gemara, Nashim Minayin. How do we know that women that they are exempt? The Chorah should be chayav. Charedim puts it nicely here. The Nashim Avogav the Chometz say says my grandma Yod Bavli the Nashim Pturos. Even though exempt only mitzvah says my grandma come nevertheless came to Krish my Omachu Shamayim. 7 yoke of heaven. What could be bad about that? He laughed. Kra. Now Pascha Min L'Chayv would say they're chayav. That's what the Mishnah has a chiddush in saying the part of the Shema. Rabusa Tefillin, what's chiddush Tefillin? The Amina came to these Kash Mezuzah since they since they're linked together. I might say just a chayav and mezuzah, chayav Tefillin, kamashmuan that they are not. So so how do we know they're part of from Shema? You teach the words of Shema to your sons. Es minechem v'lo minosechem. Your sons and not your daughters. Avadim minayin. How do we know the avadim parts? Shnei mashma'isol shem elokinu shem echad. Es she'ein lo adon el HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So obviously we could say that a part of mitzvah is my grandma, right? Like women are part of. Avadim also part of mitzvah is my grandma. But in order, obviously, there's a strong having to be mechayev avadim. Because of a Kabbalah Shemaim, just like so have me Nashim because of Omach Shemaim. So therefore, we want to have a separate limud, a more explicit limud, and it says Eshe Ein Lo Adon El HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So he only has one Adon, Echad, right? Kadosh Baruch Hu. Yotze Eved Sheish Lo Adon Acher. It excludes an Eved who has another Adon. I believe, if I recall correctly, that's not in the Bavli, because it's a pretty amazing statement to make. That the Eved has more than one Adon, but that's what it says here. So to follow through a little bit more on that issue of why don't we just learn out from Nashim, then Marapanim does ask that question here. Why don't we just learn Lola Meisha? The Shnos Eliyah, which is being now brought down Shar Yerushalmi, says that we're talking about here Chatzi Eved Chatzi Ben Chorin. So since it's Chatzi Ben Chorin, the question is why we're not Mechayiv him. Since he's chayav mitzvah say halas, at least half chayav mitzvah say shazman groma. So the answer is because he has another adon. So since he has another adon, he can't. He's exempt from Kriya Shema. The Tzion Nefesh writes that the Yerushalmi holds like the Shita Mishnah Melech that Lola Meisha only exempts avadim from mitzvah say shazman groma. Mitzvah say shazman groma, even though women are potter. We need a special limud in order to teach us that avadim are also potter as well. K'tanim minayin. How do you know k'tanim are potter? Mati Torah Hashem b'ficha. In order that the Torah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu should be constant in your mouth. So that precludes k'tanim because b'shah shu tadir ba. It's only at a time when it is constant in your mouth. So the interesting what he says in Pnei Moshe. Uktanim, I feel even though they came to age of chinuch. Whereas Ptur here is not just from the Doraisa, it's even from the Rabbanan, chinuch. Lefi she'ena matzi etzlo bonas Kriya Shema. because it's not necessarily with his father the time of Shema Avlo, but tefillin, nor that tefillin. Shouldn't stop causing any of well, that's a new thing. It's not chayav tefillin. Shouldn't stop causing any of the shmar b'atzmo. Should feel pain because a child does not know to watch himself that he should not pass gas when he's wearing the tefillin. V'chayav tefillah. The nashim and avodim and ketanim as well. Says Pnei Moshe Chayav Mitfilah the Tefillah Rachmehi Tiknu After Nashim U'Chayach Bal Ketanim and the Chayav the Ketanim because of Chinuch. And I guess the assumption is that you can do Chinuch for Ketanim for Tefillah at any time. I'm not sure why the issue of Tadir would not apply here, but that seems to be the case. So he says that why we chayav because so whoever has a house without distinction. Whoever eats and is satisfied should bless HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tamani, we learned over there. Comments and say man grama anashim chayavim, and mitzvah say which is time contingent. Men are alive, buchayev, anashim tuas, women are exempt. Comments say shalos man grama, and mitzvah say which is not time contingent. Echad anashim chayavim. Both men and women are chayev. Ezu mitzvah say shalos man grama, mitzvah say shalos man grama. Gon sukkah, lulav, shofar, tefillin. All those are time contingent. Business say she'enas man grama, they're not time contingent. Because on aveda, returning lost objects, shulchaken, sending away the mother bird. Makeh, putting a parapet, a roof fence around one's roof, the tzitzis. Tzitzis, according to the title of this opinion, is mitzvah say shlos man grama, women be chayev. Rabbi Shimon Paitas and mitzvah tzitzis. Rabbi Shimon exempts women from mitzvah tzitzis. She mitzvah say shlos man grama, because he holds that it is a mitzvah say shlos man grama. Sharei ksus laila potem min tzitzis, because the garment you wear at night is exempt from tzitzis. There's no chiyuv on that garment. Moshe says, "Afilim lov shabayom." So it sounds like Lila, because not man tzitzis. You are it's a mitzvah shel man grama. Rabbi Laya said, there's many different names in the Yerushalmi. It's Laya. Sometimes it's Rabbi Law. Sometimes it's Rabbi Law. Time in Rabbanan, the reason Rabbanan shekain im hoisam yucheres lo yom uvalayla she chayeves b'tzitzis. If it's a garment which is both night and day, it's chayev and tzitzis, and obviously that makes it, and for that scenario, mitzvah say she'et lo as man grama, and therefore, according to this shita, women would be chayev. Sometimes it associates the shita with Rabbanan, which sounds like it's a majority, but we obviously don't pass it that way. It says more further. Tani, comment says Shadam Potter Atzmo, Potter, sorry, comment says Shadam Potter, other Motzis de Chavasan, any mitzvahs from which a person is Potter, is exempt, he's still Motzi other people. It says Pnei Moshe, comment says Shadam Potter, Klamar Lo Potter Mamish. That is actually Potter. Because it's not Chamuchoy, but there can't be Motzi others. Ela Shekvar Potter Atzmo. He already exempted himself. Shebirech, he made a bracha. But Bishiyotza Motzi Acherim, then Chavasa. Yochavarech Alem. He Motzi others because of Arvus. Chutzi Birchas HaMazon, Shiyotza Eino Motzi Acherim, can fire time to come up. Birchas HaMazon is different, as we shall see. V'ad Tninon, and that which you learned, Mashbiach says this is b'nichusa. It's not a question; it's a statement. It's an evidence. The kol she'ena chayav b'davar ein motzi yisrael rab midei chavason. But is not chayav in something. It can't be motzi others dei chavason. I'm a chayav, but if he's chayav, I feel yatsa motzi. In other words, again, like Moshe explained, he has to be chayav in it. It's a bar chiyuva. Then even if he's potter because he already did it, he can be motzi others. Amri Rabbi Laya, and Rabbi Laya comes and says, again, it's not a good answer. His previous statement was not a question. It says Mashbiach, but it's only an explanation. Shani Birchas HaMazon. Why is Birchas HaMazon different than if you Yaitse can't be motzi others? If you Misha Achal Hu Yivarech. If you didn't eat, you can't make a bracha. So if you're ready to Yotze, with your own benching, you can't be motzi others if you're not eating again. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda ben Pazi, Hava, says him was Sivan. Some people change Gisha to Sivan. It doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. They were sitting. Amru, lo mistabra b'kriyashma, she'ekol echad ve'echad mishana mefiv. So he says, it's not mistabra that somebody, it doesn't really make sense that one person should be motzi others by Shema. Because everybody should repeat it with himself. Everybody should be on his own. But Mishana is actually a lesson of learning Torah because it seemed from Amr Aleph that the Chiyuvim and Turim are learned from the Matam Osam Esmechem, which is the Chiyuv of Talmud Torah. So we're saying that since Kriya Shema is part of Talmud Torah, so therefore since the women are exempt from Talmud Torah, so therefore they're exempt also from Shema. And you're saying also the same Lashon Mishana. In other words, since Kriya Shema is learning, it's appropriate for everybody to learn on their own. Lomisar b'tefila also doesn't make sense to be sheyotzi b'tefila because she'ekol echad ve'echad mebakish rachamim atzmo. Everybody should ask rachamim on himself. Obviously, it's it says chayla is not at tefila when he davens for himself. So evidently, it's appropriate for people to daven for themselves in any situation. This is now we have a full stop. New question. Ma ben sukkah u'ma ben lulav. What's the between sukkah and lulav? So it's kind of out of left field. Moshe says, "Come of two of you see action." That's an additional question. Al chiluk nusach bracha shel sukkah v'shel lulav. What's the between in the formula of the bracha between sukkah and lulav? The sukkah varchim leisha b'sukkah, lulav varchim al natilas lulav. So what's the between leisha b'sukkah al natilas lulav? They make that such a distinction. Sukkah ain't no tuna bracha elelele yontav rishon bilvad. So sukkah only requires bracha the first night. It says leishe basukkah is the first night, and skipping the Pnei Moshe a bit down. It says that there's an entity called the Shiva Sukkah which exists independently beyond the first night. But rather, according to this opinion, you would not make a bracha any other time except for this one time. But even you have to sit in it. It's more of an appropriate lesson for a one-time thing. And then that's also whatever you have to sit the rest of the time. It's not the Ikar Mitzvah, so it's all exempted by that first bracha. But lulav, you do have to make a bracha every day, so it is an ongoing entity, so to speak. Each and every netila, I'll show kol yom b'yom. Because each of the day is separate. Sukkah is not a pattern, we shall see, because you have to say the sukkah night as well, so it's only one bracha for all the yontiv. And you only make the bracha once in the primary yeshiva, the first night, and whereas lulav, you can't take it at night, so every day is different. So that's what Gemara goes on to say. Rabbi Yosef ben Achav Yisivin, I mean, they said, Ma ben Basukkah ma ben lulav. Sukkah no hekas balai baleilos urayomil. Sukkah applies both at night and at day. So therefore, one bracha at the beginning on the Ikar Mitzvah suffices for the whole yontiv. And whereas lulav is not lulav enoig elabiyon. So therefore, each day is separate. Each day requires its own bracha. So we say al tilos lulav, which indicates that it's going on a long extended entity of obligation of lulav. I should say long extended, not extended, but a multiple obligation. So now the Gemara asks, so Harei Talmud hey Rabbi Yaakov Derumya, Harei Talmud Torah no Yibulez Kamiyomim. Talmud Torah is 24-hour days, just like Sukkah, and yet we only make a bracha every day, right? If it's like Sukkah, we should only make a bracha once. So Maikadun, how do we reconcile? How do we understand the difference? Sukkah Efshar Loli Batel, the I'll come back to the second, and then we say Tautar Efshar Lo Shaloli Batel. So the way the Mashbiach changes the Girsa, and so the Kulian Shas also seems to change a little bit, although not quite sufficiently to make it so glatt. But the way the Mashbiach learns it is Sukkah. It's not Efshar Loli Batel. Or Efshar Loli Batel. I think that's the way he changes it. Sukkah Efshar Batel. No, he doesn't change it. I'm not sure why he doesn't change it. Because it makes sense more if he changed it. But the idea is as follows. I think the growth does change it. Is the growth changing? I don't know. I don't see it. No. So yeah, Sukkah he does. Okay, that's what God changed, and this makes goes much more glad. Sukkah Evshalosh Loli Batel Tamator Evshalosh Loli Batel. So you tell you it's not between anymore. It's just very straightforward. A Sukkah, it's possible for you to go 24 hours in a Sukkah because you're going to go. So you don't. Even sleeping is also a mitzvah. So the mitzvah Sukkah is never Batel during the Sukkahs. You'll be out there the entire time, both awake and asleep, and therefore you only need one bracha. Talmud Torah, it's not possible that you're not going to go to sleep, and when you go to sleep, you're not Makayim the mitzvah Talmud Torah. So therefore, it's not Makayim the mitzvah Talmud Torah while you're sleeping, so therefore, it's interrupted, and therefore you have to make a new bracha every day. Okay, Tani. Avo Amru, Isha Merech Zabal of Eben Barech Rabo. A woman can make a bracha for her husband, a slave for his master, and a katan lo'aviv, and a child for his father. Lochem Rabbi Yaakov Shem Rabbi Yosef ben Yerai Kol Shemru b'katan Gdei L'Chamcho. How can he be motzi his father? He's not being. He's only chayim mishum chinuch. Tipat ebana achrayim amen. So you have to say something about your answer amen afterwards. So the Pnei Moshe suggests that we erase this. Logo sin amen. B'chein leisva b'rosh sham aracham askin shu oina achrayim abracha mashen omen. You have to say actually. So the Gersa doesn't work that way, right? So the Amen, whereas the Charedim leaves it in place. The Charedim learns. Let's find the Charedim. The Ona Amen. Havakilat Somerech Bachrein Lav Tafka Ella Akoton. The Be'evi Yishol the Loch below the Chayov and Brikas Mazon. Below the Chayim Diras Mazon Banias Amen Nofak. Achim Lav Dafka El Kotan. So the way he learns it, it's a little bit very difficult. Not sure exactly how to say it, but he's saying that it's Dipata Bonachrem. Bonachrem Amen. By the cotton, is older. I don't even know how to do it according to Charedim. I thought I would understand it, but I'm not sure. Let's see this again. He's using the cotton. So onachrem, he's learning his onachrem means he's reading word for word, and saying amen as well, which is very difficult in the chat. But that's what he's saying, and it's going specifically on cotton. We have to you have to listen, say what they're saying. Or Sameach brings down Perek Dal Halacha Ches that because Godel Ona Amen Yosem in HaMevorech, so therefore, if I'm not sure what's going on though, because he didn't write down what is going on. What's going on? A katan or on the gadol, but evidently, obviously, a gadol doesn't have to answer a main. So it's just Shaveh Koina. So maybe the Osman was saying, why is it Hachrem Amen? Because that makes it's a higher Madrig of Hachrem after them Amen. But certainly by On Hachrem Amen, the final analysis doesn't really make you be it's not. It's a Shomer Koina. Just Amen is, according to like the Osman says, would be icing on the cake. And we got precisely the bottom of the daf, so we can stop here.